What I wanted to also talk about is a site survey tool which we offer. And this basically allows you to pull up any facility using a Google address, any address, or even coordinates, and you're able to place our cameras on a top-down view. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you here, and I'll give you a demonstration on how this works. So in this particular case, I typed in a local airport, Newark Airport, and it pulls up just a top-down view and maps the airport. So just to show you how the tool works briefly, what I'm going to do here is I want to place a camera here. So I'm going to click once. And first, after I click and mount the camera, what I want to do is choose the type of camera. So actually I'll choose the wired IR, which is our thermal, and I'm going to press orient, and I'm going to click to where I want the field of view to go to. Okay. Now this software will not allow you to go beyond the capabilities of the camera. So if I were to ask the camera to go to the end of the runway here, what I'll get from it is an error, and basically telling me that I'm asking the camera to do something that it's not able to do. So I'll press OK, and it's going to give me the maximum distance that I can detect a human target. Now, as you see here, a human is chosen. I could choose a vehicle, and you'll notice that your field of view will get wider, and you're able to go even farther. Now, if I were to change that to a larger object, like a boat or an aircraft, I would change the setting here, and you'll notice that the field of view again would get wider, and I'm able to go even farther. So let's bring this back to human detection, and you'll notice right away I'm getting an error because the system's telling me that I can't detect a human at this distance. So it brings me back to human detection distance. Now, a couple things. You saw my coarse adjustments with the field of view. Now I'll show you a couple fine adjustments. I can change the distance, as you see here, and I can change the angle of the camera itself. Okay. Again, if I change the distance and I'll max it out here, I'll also get an error using the fine adjustments. So let's just take this information and put it into a perimeter application. So I can see a clear perimeter around this airport here, and I'll just give you an example. So I'll put down a camera here. I'll choose again our thermal. Maybe I'll name it this time for my reference later, Cam 1. I'll choose an accurate mounting height of 5 meters, and I'll press orient. So that's where I want the field of view to go to. I'm going to click again to mount my second camera, which is going to be again thermal. I'll name it Cam 2, and then I'll make sure I have an accurate mounting height, let's say this time 6 meters. So I'll press orient, and then I'm just going to choose out here because I want to get the maximum distance out of that camera. So it'll automatically give me the max distance. Now, something you want to keep in mind here, there is a blind spot under each camera. That blind spot is controlled by the height of the camera or the pole itself. So if this is a 10 meter pole height, you'll see that my blind spot gets bigger. If it's a 5 meter, you'll see that it gets smaller. Now, if I'm not covering that blind spot with the previous camera, I want to make some changes here. So I just want to make sure that every blind spot is covered. I want no gaps in my perimeter. So after that's being done, I'll just go ahead and this time I'll use a visible camera. We happen to have a lot of lighting in this area, so maybe we could use a visible. And then I'll just continue on. Just to give you another example, if you see a straight line here like this, there's a way in this system to form a straight line of cameras. So you go to sensor line and choose visible, and I'm just going to choose, I'm going to, just for demonstration purposes, I'll click out here. So you'll see that the system automatically set up a line of visible site sensors. Okay. So very quickly, what I did was set up the perimeter. Now, a couple nice other things you'll get out of this. At the end of the day, if you go to Provide Quote, my system will tell you exactly the amount of cameras and what type of camera you need to order. Okay? It'll also give you the specs of each camera. Now, this is very important for our thermal cameras because if you remember, I mentioned that we have 5 different lenses. So let's say, for instance, I want to change the distance here, and I want to add a camera, and it happens to be thermal, and I want to go a little farther. Okay, now I'll go back to my Provide Quote, and I'll see the changes that were done. I'm requiring actually more thermal sensors than the previous. Okay. Now, one thing I do want to mention: don't forget to save your work, and you do that in the upper left-hand corner here. If you save your work, you'll just be able to go back in your history and see, anything that was designed previous to your login. So that's a quick overview of the Site Survey tool. We do provide site survey tutorials, so if you want to request a login through our website, we're more than happy to help you design a location, or even just to go over the tool with you again so you could use it properly and effectively.